Welcome into the OBR streaming network. It is officially week 3. Browns will host the New York Giants in an attempt to go to 2-1. Let's go, old man Drizzt, Jeff W. What is happening? Thank you all for filing into the chat for tonight's edition of All Eyes on Cleveland. My name is Brad Ward. The man next to me is the one and only Casey Kinnamon. Follow him on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. His handle is at Casey_Kinnamon. Tonight he is better known as Bickerstaff's burner. That would be a double burner for those of you keeping track at home. Leroy Bickerstaff, any relation to Bernie Bickerstaff?
Yeah. Great nephew.
Great nephew.
Yeah, twice removed.
Bernie Bickerstaff, the Leroy. What is happening, Big Case Dog? I hate these games. Let me tell you this.
Yeah, no.
I hate these games against teams that you're supposed to beat. It makes for a very nerve-wracking week because in the NFL, every team is good. Yeah. Every team has the talent to beat you on any Sunday, and it just makes for a scary proposition.
If the variance between weeks 1 and 2 doesn't tell you what this is a week-to-week league, like, you know what I mean? You can be the Patriots and go into Cincinnati and beat the Bengals, and the Bengals can go to Kansas City and damn near beat the Chiefs. Like, the variance is ridiculous. And I'm entirely too old to say this, but, like, how much better are the vibes this week? You know what I mean? Like, it's night and day from where we were just a week ago on this show, you know, heading into a game with Jacksonville. Yeah, man, it's wild. I sent you a picture on the Slack, and it was the NFL Network choosing the games. Every analyst picked us. That shit makes me nervous.
Yes, that will drive you nuts when that happens. Totally agree. Totally against that kind of attention, right?
But is that? I think that speaks to our underdog mentality where we've been for a while.
Sure.
But I think it sucks because like there's a comfort in kind of being buried at 1:00 amongst all these other games, and you don't have all the spotlight on you, and you know, and you don't mind when you're the other team's favored by a point or two. You feel frisky in that moment, but like to get where you want to go, eventually you have to deal with the weight of the expectations, and you have to be that marquee team that everyone picks to win, and you win despite that. But it just for a fan, that seems like a big bridge to gap to get to that mentality where you're comfortable in that role.
Yeah, it is a big bridge to gap. We've been trying to bridge it for quite some time, my friend.
Yes.
As I would say. So there's some things going on that we want to talk about here at the top of the show. We'll get into some of the Giants stuff. But, you know, first and foremost, we kind of got to take status of this roster again, as it is a living, fluent situation constantly, right? So as far as we know, David Njoku is not playing this weekend. That's my understanding. Would you agree with that?
It sounds like, I mean, Stefanski wasn't definitive, but he said that he highly doubts he would play this week.
Charlie Chuck pointing out why did this happen?
It's the same thing with David Bell 3 weeks ago, and it kind of threw us for a loop, and we probably talked too long about it for something to end up being a nothing burger. But I think
but anytime you're exposing someone who was a draft pick this year, it's a big deal to me.
No, I'm not saying it's not a big deal, and I think that it's so recent from the draft that if someone was going to draft him somewhere in the neighborhood you did, they might see an opportunity to snake him. But they're just look, man. There's freeing up an active spot for hopefully Jack this weekend, and then you're going to elevate probably Royce Freeman if Pierre Strong doesn't go, and you need that spot, and they think they'll get him back, obviously, or they wouldn't do it. And I think that also speaks to this Thursday night thing. You know, letting someone go on a Thursday, maybe everyone's too far into their week, and if he's not going to play an immediate role, then you have to put him on your 53 to claim him. So it's definitely a gamble, though.
Yeah, it really is. And, you know, the David Bell thing was super weird, right? So never have I seen that where like the guy was cut. And Steven, I'm going to get to your question next here, but practice is over for the week. Yeah. So, Bell gets cut, right? Brought back to the practice squad. So nobody picks him up. And then he's immediately elevated right back onto the 53, right? And then he's highly involved in the game plan in week 2. And was playing great.
Yes.
Until he's out for the season with a dislocated hip, which we're going to talk about the wide receivers later because they need somebody else to step up. They're missing something there, right? They need either Tillman or Cooper. Hopefully Cooper. We're going to talk about Cooper, but even if it is Cooper, you need Tillman too. So I don't know. There's a couple things going on in that room that are a little curious for me. It's interesting. Strong should have been dropped before Bookie. It's weird, man. It's weird. Bookie's been hurt though, right? Is that? Yeah.
He got hurt in camp and only came back recently. And same thing with Bell, right? Bell got hurt, and right when he came back, they were like, these are curious decisions, but they're telling you who they view the 53rd on the roster is. He was the guy on the chopping block. He was last on the rotation.
Yes, man. I guess it's just feels like they're playing a little Russian roulette. I know they waited till late in the week, so rosters are set, practice is over. To your guys' point, so I get that, but still, it's a strange situation. It's not like they've done this.
31 teams, man, to have had a high grade on him and them still feel they're weak in that area. Like, well, we could still use a strong side backer, and here's this guy that we were going to take later in the 6th, and then all of a sudden he's not on your team anymore.
And it's just they've never done this in the past with draft picks, at all. Which is, I mean, if they had done this in the past, then it'd be like, okay, they've done this before.
Yeah,
I can't even see my All Eyes on Cleveland sweatshirt here. Come on now. All right. I guess you still can't see it. Either way, that's way too high. All right, there we go. We back in business. All right. All right, and we never left. All right, so we're locked in here on All Eyes on Cleveland. Make sure you take a second and hit like and subscribe down below. It's free. It takes you less than a second, and it helps us out tremendously. So we appreciate your action to help us in advance. All right, Steven, what are we? Where are we? What are we? And where are we with the tackles? We are humans mostly, and then tackles. Where are we? Is the question from Steven. Thank you, Steven. That's a good question. So the tackles is a ongoing saga. You could make a soap opera on ABC at 1:30 daytime TV about the Cleveland Browns tackle situation at this point. DeWand Jones hurt his knee in the game. He expects to play. Did he practice today, Case?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. He was back in
Full
practice.
or limited? Was he a limited participant?
DNP yesterday, limited today. He intends to play. He was telling all the reporters that this is, and I think the thing of note is Jack Conklin logged back-to-back full participant days.
Full.
That's what I feel. This is the first time I feel good about him actually suiting up. 2 back-to-back full participant days. Unless there's a setback between now and they're going to do walkthroughs tomorrow, I feel good about Conklin going. I feel DeWan's going to go. But in a world, we're just in a world where, say, DeWan, something happens and he can't. I feel better about Hudson over on the right side and then Jack on left from where we've been. But we're getting healthier, man. We're getting healthier in the offensive line. And I was doing some deep dive stuff today and looking through PFF and their offensive line rankings. They have the Browns ranked 10th in offensive line. PFF. We're the highest ranked.
Wrong.
Here's the
Wrong.
thing. I don't think that says anything with the Browns. I think it says something about the rest of the league.
Okay.
I, th- I
I'll
think
listen to that.
I think that's the offensive line plays so down that we're down on our situation, and they consider us a top 10 unit based on their grades, and they're grading bad. I mean, Hudson's grading terrible in pass pro, and they still
Uh,
have us ranked that high.
Are they living a little bit on their previous reputation?
This is all in grades. I don't.
Okay.
But I don't think that that's saying the Browns are a top. I think that's saying, man, offensive line play across the league is bleak. They have the Steelers were the next closest team at 20. The Ravens were 24, and the Bengals were 28th.
Okay.
So they have us leaps and bounds above those guys.
Here's a hot button question for you that I've heard asked a lot in the past couple of days,
Yeah.
Case. What is the AFC North? Was the AFC North overrated coming into this year?
I mean, they did something historic. It's kind of hard to, they literally no since the realignment in 2002, no entire division has went over 500 before. So it's hard for me to say that it wasn't deserved to be high on them. But then you have to take in context what divisions did they play, the winning percentages of those said divisions. But I don't know, man. I'm a massive believer in water finding its level. I think these are all good teams. I don't think we get in the same situation as last year. I could see a world where they do all four finish above 500, but like right around the Mendoza line, not 12 win teams like everyone was predicting with the Ravens and Bengals, and they're digging themselves some holes, which I don't
Yeah,
mind.
a little bit. I think it's a little early to be
Yeah,
people rushing to that conclusion. It's
I'm
too
not
early to
dancing on
rush.
any graves yet.
Yeah, no. I think those teams. No. I think those teams will be end up probably being just fine. I hope
Mhm.
not. I'm not, but I just think that they'll probably work it out. I mean, they're having some issues, but I
They were-
mean, the Bengals almost beating the Chiefs is not really an
Mhm.
indictment on their
No.
level of play.
No, but also the Chiefs are getting by with their B game. Even when they beat the Ravens, they didn't play well. They're just so talented that they can literally beat you with a mediocre effort. That's where they're at now in their trajectory.
And you saw in that game, even the great one, right? Even the great one is frustrated by what the league is doing right
Yep.
now defensively.
Yep.
And I'm writing on it, and we will talk about it a little bit more later. But it's pretty wild. Scoring is down, way
Mhm.
down. Running the ball is up. Quarterback play is down. Like,
Mhm.
I mean, I think I saw Watson after 2 weeks, including week 1, is in the top 12 PFF grades for 2 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Explain that
Average
to
depth
me.
of targets way down. Everything's
Yeah.
right near the line of scrimmage. Everybody's playing horizontal. But what's funny is we're talking about all this, and it's the evolution of teams going to a full time too high look, which people act like it just was invented. Too highs and then it has been around this whole time. It's just teams only played it in certain situations, and now you're seeing it more of a base defense. But we're not even taking part in that. We're not part of that.
No. And we're still shutting people down.
Yeah.
By the way, did you see that? Did you? I don't know if you just mentioned it. Mel Kiper wants to outlaw
Yeah.
too high defense.
Yeah.
Who? I mean, hold on. Like I had to like read that 3 times. Like wait, what? What are you talking about, bro? Where? Who? What?
Nonsensical, man. Nonsensical.
2 weeks? 2
We've
weeks?
we've skewed all the rules to benefit the offense. So the defense finds some shit that works. You're like, no, you can't do that. It's
Oh,
like
you
you
can't
force
play
their
2
hand.
safeties deep like they have for 200 effing years in
Yeah.
football
Yep.
now because their scoring's down for 2 weeks, Mel Kiper?
Yeah.
What in God's name is he talking about? That was the dumbest thing of the dumb I have ever heard in my
Yeah.
life.
I've seen some counter proposals like, well, how about we just have their best defensive player play blindfolded?
Yeah,
Well, the defense
seriously.
has to start
Yeah,
sitting on the ground and then they can get
yeah.
up.
No, yeah, they can't. We're gonna have to go to 10 players on defense.
We
This is
can't
crazy.
change any more rules to skew the
Yeah.
offense, man. Like this is it. You force their hands into this.
What are we
And
doing?
Mahomes can be aggravated all he wants. It's his damn fault.
I blame whoever put that idiot on the air with that idea. I mean, come on, that's got to be one of the dumbest things I've heard in a long
They
time.
love it because we're talking about it. They love it because it got shared everywhere, even if it's getting shit on, and it is. That it's just traffic. They're seeing clicks and whatever.
I would agree that he is mad. I don't know about a scientist.
Yeah.
So 90% rule, Brad, 90% of people are effing. Yeah, I would agree. Yeah. 10-4. 10-4.
Mhm.
All right. So also, so here's the other thing with, as whoever described it in the chat, fumble maybe, or I forget who said it, that the young and the listless are offensive line soap opera.
Yeah.
Uh,
I was
so
mad that when you said that I actually know the soap opera that would play at 1 o'clock on ABC.
yeah, what is it? Is it
All
the
My
young and the
Children.
all my children, the young and the
Yeah.
listless?
Yeah. I think that's the CBS one.
General Hospital is
Yeah.
my
The
wife's
OG.
favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like Sonny Corinthos. He's a kind of a gangster. All right. Anyways, I exposed too much there, probably. I'm forced. It's the real rule is you got to watch this, and then and then I can take
Mhm.
over the TV. So
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah. My mom and my grandmother,
Yeah,
they got their shows in early in the day, man. Tell you that.
yeah. General Hospital is the goat, says Jeff W.
It might
I
be. It
mean, I have no
might be.
clue about this stuff.
It
Yeah,
might be. I don't know.
I don't. Like I said, I'm forced to watch it, and so I will partake from time to time. Um, Jed Wills was asked about if he could play this week, and he gave the most himiny haw answer that I've ever
Should
heard
have
in
bet
my life.
Brax.
I mean,
Should have bet you.
it was infuriating. Like, and Ken Carmen went off on this morning. I wish he's coming on the show one of these weeks, but we're still trying to run this down. Find him. He doesn't have any free time, but him. I mean, what is Jed talking? He literally
Dude,
did sound like he's working in a mailroom. So, I don't know. Maybe I might.
Jed
I
Jed
might
is
play. I don't know yet.
Jed is all brakes, no gas. Like it isn't like he's itching to get out there, does he?
No, it doesn't feel at all like it feels like he could care less if he plays
Man.
ever again. That's what it feels like
Yeah.
when he talks.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to get into these conversations because you're talking about a guy in a contract year. And if he's not physically right, he's not doing himself any service by being out there. Although the team desperately needs bodies out there, and I don't know, man. And you look at the schedule, and it's like all these stud ass pass rushers he's going to face right out the gate, and he doesn't seem amped to get out there and prove himself, does he?
Man, I don't know. Maybe. Not sure.
Yeah.
We'll see. I might play this week. Maybe next week. Maybe not next week. I mean, it's a contract year, bro. What are you doing?
Unless he just knows he's not right, and we don't know that.
I
We know
guess.
the timeline's been skewed. I know that the Browns wish they knew that it was going to do what it's doing because there would have been different actions taken. And they're like I said, they're just making chicken salad, man. That's what they're doing on the offensive line right now.
Yeah, trying. Mike Hall
Mhm.
pled no contest
To disorderly.
uh to the lesser
Mhm.
charges that this was pled down to. The thing that's kind of upsetting to me at this point, right, is so and I'm not trying to tout here or take a victory lap, but I said at the time, and I don't really want to get into the ins and outs of what happened on the night of in question here, but the 911 call, which was made available, did not match the story that
Yeah.
was passed on to the police in any street. And I pointed that out on the React. I was like, the 911 call does not match what she is saying happened. She then recanted the part that was not included in the 911 call, right? So the thing that never happened, and she made it up. Okay, that's fine. Whatever. And still, you know, here we are with
So
a tough
the theory is
situation.
this is a disorderly the entire time, and it was never brought up as a higher charge. He's probably not on the commissioner's exempt list.
That's my point. That's my point. And then the quote today is, "We're still investigating. Nothing changes from the NFL." What do you mean? What do you mean? Like, this should change everything.
Yeah, he should get time
What
served if nothing, right? Like if it's disorderly, they can say, well, okay, 2 game suspension already
you
served.
you've already suspended him 2 games. What are we
Yep.
talking about here? What are we
Yep.
still investigating? I don't
Yeah.
understand.
I don't the NFL does something different when it's because even though he wasn't charged with weapons charges, he was found to have weapons on him, 2 guns.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I don't know if
I
that
mean, that's not
changes.
surprising.
I know, but that might change the way because I don't know, man. They're definitely more stringent on weapons charges. And he wasn't charged though. That's the thing. Like you said, if this thing would have been a disorderly the entire time, then he's not on the exempt list. It's because the other shit that was brought into it put him on that exempt list. But since that's all gone now, he's already missed 2 games. Like I don't see what the holdup is.
Rashee Rice is running around catching a bunch of
Sure
touchdown
is.
passes.
Yeah, but there's I don't know. And to me, that's like what he did could have killed multiple people, but
It
they're
certainly looked like they were pulling weapons out of that car when they all walked off down the side of the median, did it not?
yeah. Yeah, we can thank Ray Rice for this. It's just because of that spin. Anytime it's domestic in any way, the NFL has to appear because we know that the bottom line is the NFL's money, and they don't want to lose sponsorships. They don't want to lose they don't want to lose public faith. People they want to be looked at in a positive light. So it's
Yeah. And it was on video.
yes, yep.
It's
And
baffling.
they react lightly to it, and then they had to be heavy fisted. And since then, anytime it's domestic,
I mean, you can point to this. I mean, Watson's playing.
mhm,
You can point to your own team.
yeah.
I don't get it, man.
But they also launched an investigation. And if they were criminal charges, I don't believe he would be playing. I believe he'd be on that exempt list again.
How are there not criminal charges?
It's a great question because, as Jackson McCurry pointed out, the statute of limitations for criminal in Texas is longer.
10.
So, why? Yeah, these are all great questions, and unfortunately, my only expertise is bird law, and I can't speak on these.
Charlie, bird law. I'm an expert in bird law. Yep. All right. Good stuff. I love an Always Sunny reference to brighten the day. All right. So that's where you're at with Mike Hall. The NFL balking at the opportunity to let him back on the field after already serving 2 games and saying that somehow they are still investigating. What they're investigating at this point, I have no idea. So, fumble. If she takes it to court, there's discovery. Everything comes out. The whole life gets examined. She might not want that. They are too. You make a good point, but here's the thing. This is interesting. Jonathan Dwyer got 3 games in 2015 for a DV arrest. Rodney Austin got 6 games in 15 for a DV charge. Derek Coleman 4 games, 16 DV charge. Zeke 6 games, 17 for a DV charge. Interesting. Thank you, OG Philly. So yeah, I think you posted this before in your fumble about the discovery thing. They said they want this to go to court based on at this point. Oh, maybe not, but
They
that's what
wanted to
BuzzFeed
settle,
said.
and they're
They want to be
threatening.
settled.
Yeah.
Okay, but
So he says,
they're.
we'll take it.
I
They want
don't
a jury
think they're.
trial. He didn't want that.
Listen, here's my thing. She may not want it to come out her personal life, whatever. I sure you as hell think Watson doesn't want his stuff to come out. If you are talking about who would rather less have a discovery, I think it's much more on the Watson side. They don't want a discovery here.
Yes. Yeah.
more than she does. Nobody
Avoid at
cares
all
what's in her
costs.
discovery except for that it might, in some way, uh, you know, contaminate her ability to bring, you know what I mean, discredit her in some way. But in nowadays, you can't really do that. Like you can't like slut shame somebody in
Mm.
these situations.
Yeah, no
So
one knows her anyway, so she's not being tried in the public opinion, the court of public opinion. He is.
I I, I have this. This is the last we'll say about this.
Okay.
I have this feeling that we're gonna get like to 6-2.
He's gonna ball out. We're
He's
gonna be
gonna
Super
be
Bowl
he's
favorites.
gonna be in a nice groove,
Yeah, yeah.
and they're gonna come down with the suspension.
Mhm. Yeah. I mean, it gets said all the time, but like, wouldn't that be the most Browns thing ever? Like, yeah, probably. That's probably how it's going to go. Two words: Jameis Winston.
Imagine wanting somebody coming after us. Imagine wanting to be a Browns talking heads so you support. I don't know what you're saying, brother.
Yeah, ribs. I like whiskey and ribs. I like your name. I don't like what
Yeah.
you're saying about us. I'm not supporting Deshaun Watson.
Never once have I supported what Deshaun Watson has done off the field in any shape or form. In fact,
No.
I just said that I think he probably gets suspended at some point.
Mhm.
And just asked why there hasn't been legal charges brought against him. So how am I supporting him?
I don't pay any attention to that noise, man.
I'm just curious. I just wondering where that angle comes from.
Because we're not balling our fists and breaking our laptops and like,
But yeah,
I don't know.
I'm just a little bit just wondering where that came from. Fan of the Browns, want them to win.
We covered the
But as
team.
far as what for is being accused of, I don't know either way what is true and what is not. I don't pretend to know. Um, but also just asked a minute ago, why hasn't there been legal charges
Mhm.
taken towards him? And why isn't he on the exempt list? So show me where we are somehow supporting him. Still waiting for your answer. Okay. I won't hold my breath.
Yeah.
All right. As we continue here on All Eyes on Cleveland, let's talk about wide receiver. So, dude, how good did uh, David Bell look in his time on the field at the beginning of this game? Like, I don't think I've ever seen him look better, Case.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you're trying to get your quarterback into rhythm, there's throwing short stuff. He's like the perfect guy to have on the field. Just perfect depth in his routes. He's going to be where he's supposed to be. Like it was a easy way to get Watson going. Really, having a player like Bell on the field. You're not dynamic in that moment, but that's not what you're going for. You're trying to establish a rhythm, and that's what it did. I mean, he started off 8 for 9, and Bell was a massive part of that.
Dude, he looked so good. He looked like he was right in rhythm. Yeah, I don't know. It's just a shame. That whole thing is a shame. So you've got Cooper who 17 targets,
Mhm.
which is shocking. And then you know his numbers that he's put up 27 yards on 17 targets or whatever through 2 weeks.
Mhm.
You've got everybody under the sun saying that he's mad at the Browns, whatever. I wrote about this and things I think I know. I do not believe that is the case. I think that's nonsense. He's in a contract year. He can't afford to be mad at the Browns. If he wants to make money as much as he seems to care about making money, which
Mhm.
I don't blame him for, then he needs to play better because he's 30 and he's going to be judged as a 30-year-old at this
Yeah.
point.
This is his last real bite at the apple. And a lot of
Yes.
people act like he's going to sabotage his bag. That's so short-sighted.
Not
And
not gonna happen.
has he not given us a large enough sample size for us to give this man leeway for having a couple of bad games?
Yes.
And all of a sudden, it's like the two narratives are what you just said. It's he's 30 and he's lost a step, or he's pouting and he's now somehow a double agent. Which it kind of felt like that when he caught that one first down and then brought it back. It's like, oh, you're even when you catch the ball, you're not really helping me. But like, put on the tape, he's still getting open. Like the third down that he dropped this last week, the reason he was so wide open is because he broke a cat's ankles coming out of his break. That's not age. Age doesn't do that. Age isn't if he wasn't getting the separation, I hear you. It's a concentration thing. And if anything, he's probably just putting too much pressure on himself to perform. Do you know what I mean? And like, because Water, like I said, Water finds this level. First of all, having this conversation going into Washington or Philly, then flags will be up. But man, he's still getting open. He's still creating separation. He's going to start catching the football, man. This is who he's been through his career. And I went and looked at all of his games. These are the two worst back-to-back games he's had. He's had stinkers before. He's had a 2-reception game for 16 yards. He got iced out against New England once and got nothing. You know what I mean? So you can look through his history and find a game here or there but then he's going to 130, 111, 7 receptions, 2 touchdowns. Like, I think that's what we're in for. I think we're going to see one of those. He's probably going to catch 6 or 7 balls, get close to 100, probably score a tutty this week. And then we'll see where the discourse goes.
Yeah. The interesting thing about this is that, his hand, that play was so weird, right? He gets so wide open.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen him misplay a ball that badly since he's been here. Now, I haven't followed him my whole career, watched all of his tape, but I've never seen him like the ball
through the wickets.
It was like he was trying to catch it with his elbows.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was just a weird play. And then, so he did shake him. He had his hands backwards. On another play, the one, what's up, Michael Smith? Good to see you, brother. He was on the outside. I think they were on a different page where he cut it inside and the ball was like high and too fast. He couldn't get his hands up. I think Watson thought he was going, I don't know. And he cut it in. I don't know. Or he just fired it. Casey, salute as well from Michael Smith. So listen, I think he'll be perfectly fine. The one thing that we've always said about him, especially at his age, like he is not the guy that has to rely on raw athletic talent to be great, right? He's a technician. He gets himself open with nuance and, that those parts of body control and rhythmic, electric footwork. It's not burst and straight speed that wins for him. Yeah. So I thought his game would age better than some other guys who do rely on that burst. Jarvis Landry was from here to out in a season, right? Yeah. And so this age is tricky. I don't think that the first 2 games are a sign of him being down on the Browns or anything like that, or angry. He really can't be after he held out of camp. Like, if you're going to stand on your business, you can't be mad at for the Browns handling their business.
Yeah. And he's been in the league long enough. I mean,
this is his 10th season. He's been traded twice, right?
Yeah. Yep. This is his 10th season league. He understands the business side of it. And he was trying to stand on his. And like you said, now that he's back and you have to perform, and he knows he has to perform. If we're holding them to this standard, what do you think standard he holds himself to? Like he's down on himself, So he's just shown me so much. It's hard for me to, after 2 games, just begin to be like, nope, we're moving on. And now Judy, you're wide receiver 1. Like I don't think that's how this is going to go.
Yeah. I agree. Thank you, Stephen. Incredibly kind words. We appreciate that. Very, very much awesome. Non-football related from OG Philly. Shohei Ohtani 6 for 6. Wow. So he what record was he going for? 50 and 50?
No, you're asking
tonight?
the wrong guy.
Yeah.
I am so unplugged from baseball right now.
Yeah. That's yeah, he got it. Yeah, he was going for 50 and 50. Yeah, he got it. Unbelievable.
Wow.
Yeah. That's unbelievable.
Shout
And
out
I
to
don't believe
Casey
he's
Jones
even
profile pic there.
He's not even who?
Zook with the Casey Jones profile pic.
Oh yeah,
Ninja Turtles, man. My namesake.
Yeah, cheap ass Dolan. Surge, come on, man. They just clinched today, brother. They just clinched to get in the playoffs. You call out the Dolan, cheap ass Dolan. I mean, they're about to win the division this week. It's a good September for the old Gardos. All right, let's. Speaking of Coop, I want to hear him. So let's bring it up, and then we're gonna listen to what I thought was in very interesting interview with Daniel Jones about the Browns. But Daniel Jones strikes me as an extremely defeated man right now, despite playing better last week. Didn't he play better last week or no?
I mean, I don't know, man.
They scored 3 touchdowns.
And no extra
They outscored the other team by 3 touchdowns and lost.
Yeah, that's never happened.
Never.
Where a team has scored 3 more touchdowns than the opposing team and then lost the game.
That one is tough to accomplish.
It's on the coaches. You had your kicker had a bum leg going into it. You didn't even, so then he gets hurt in pregame. And then you don't have your practice squad guy called up. That's on you. And then he pulls a groin on the opening kickoff. After the flag had already been thrown, he didn't need to chase Austin Eckler down, so then you got no kicker, and Scottish Hammer attempted 1, missed it, and then they went for 2 after that. It's on Dable.
Yeah. The
celebrate the history of the team.
That whole kicker situation is crazy. All right. Let's hear what Coop said today. This is gonna be. I have thoughts on this. I'm gonna reserve, because it's a thing I think I know, which will be on tomorrow night's show. So, but
how important was it to get that first win out of you guys? But
it's very important. As you know, in this league, momentum has a lot to do with how the season is gonna go. So you wanna capture that first win as soon as possible, so you can have that winning momentum. So it was very important.
Slow start for you. We're used to seeing 100-yard games and 2 touchdowns and 10 catches and those kind of things. So
right.
Is it just, how do you explain kind of what's going on?
Yeah, just a slow start. Just some bumps in the road in terms of my play, but it's motivated me for sure, and I'll be back. So.
All right, so I mean that's end of story for me. Okay, does he seem? Okay, so I kept reading this narrative that his body language and his attitude, I think he was frustrated with himself for dropping the ball.
Yeah. Like I said, if we're holding him to a certain standard, you know what he holds himself to? This man's been excellent his whole life. He's on a Hall of Fame trajectory of a career, actually. And you don't think that he's disappointed that he's dropped. He's credited with 3. You could almost give him 4 drops. He's credited with 3, but one's a clear touchdown. The third down, he may even score on that, but that's definitely a massive chunk play. He's been a playmaker his whole life. Of course, he's not happy with his performance.
All right. I'll wait. I'll save this question for a minute from now.
Kind of look at the outlook going forward and say you've been getting open. Deshaun's been finding you. Just gotta make some routine catches that you usually make.
Yeah, not necessarily in terms of that, but it's definitely motivating and humbling. And sometimes I need that. So.
Did missing OTAs and minicamp have anything to do with it?
I'm not sure. It's a tough question to answer because it was my first time actually missing OTAs and mini camp. So I guess you could say that if you want.
And then how about the other obvious question to that is the fact that your name did surface in a trade room with San Francisco. Is that something that gets inside your head and lingers a little bit as you move forward into the season?
Nah, not necessarily. I can't give you that one. Nah.
You say it's motivating. Has it been frustrating these first 2 weeks for you?
Of course, you want to go out there and play your best brand of football individually as early as possible. So definitely been frustrating, but hey, it is what it is. You got to go out there and just play your game, get back focused, lock back in, and that's what I'm looking to do.
It seems like it's just an inch here, inch there. I mean, such as the pass down in Jackson on Sunday, where it just all. I mean, when you go back and watch it on film, is there something that is it something you can notice on film, or is it just a matter of, hey, that inch, we'll make that inch up, down the road?
Just gotta play better. I mean, I don't look at the inch here, inch there. I mean, yeah, it does play a factor sometimes, but just me knowing my game, knowing myself, just got to go out there and play my brand of football, play up to my standards. So I haven't been doing that for the past couple of weeks, but like I said, I've been motivated. So it's time to get going. So yeah.
Do you feel that at least you and Deshaun have been on the same page though these first couple of games, even though the catches and the numbers haven't been there for you? Do you feel like you two are on the same page?
Yeah, I do, but we can always be more intentional. Like I went out there yesterday, I treated practice like the game, and that's what I'm gonna go and do every single day of practice moving forward. Just treating the practice like the game, attacking it just like I would the game. And I can't say I've necessarily been doing that, but that's what I got to do.
All right, this is a non-issue.
Yeah, my answer is going to just refer to MC's statement.
Yeah. This is interesting, though.
Well, technically, he was a tight end for a couple of the reps this last week. They
Yeah.
didn't consider him an overload tackle. They considered him a tight end. I mean, semantics at that point. He's not going out for passes as of yet. I do think it's promising, though, for his progression that he's seeing the field this early, even though it's not at his natural position. But just to get the feel for the game, and I think they're very high on that young man.
So Grossi is talking about Conklin and Jones. That would make no sense to me unless they don't think he can play left tackle at all.
Yeah. So we've got to follow their actions, man. If Conklin's a full go and he's active on game day and he's not starting, and they got Hudson out there over him and DeWanda at right, and then we can start to ask those questions about they don't think he can play left tackle until they make those decisions.
Probably a smart thing right here. There you go, Philly. Probably smart.
Yeah.
All right. So I started on this when we went to Coop, but we both expect Coop to bounce back. Now, here's my question. I think he'll bounce back, and I think he's going to have a fine year. I think he probably leads this team in yardage, receptions, whatever, by the end of the year, right?
Yeah.
Jerry Jeudy has played well.
Yes.
And so far that experience has been a good one. Two games. It is what it is. But so far so good. Elijah Moore, couple drops, but has been very productive and was a big part of this offense's momentum getting going in the beginning of game 2. I think he had 6 catches last week. I mean, that's a good, healthy portion. So, with all of this going on, and you look at Coop and whatever, he doesn't have an extension in place. They've talked about it. Do you expect Coop in a Browns uniform next year?
I have no expectations. I'm not leaning one way or the other, and they've left themselves open for a multitude of probabilities to happen. And it's amongst those is that Coop balls out between now and the bye, and maybe they do throw a 1 to 2 year extension his way. But if other areas of the room go a different way, maybe they lean that way. So I don't know. I don't have any expectations as of here today, and it has nothing to do with the first 2 games for me.
So I'll say this about it. As good as Jerry Jeudy plays, he's not going to be a 1 for me. But I also don't think Cooper will be back.
Yeah.
So I think that they're going to have to either draft or trade for someone going into 25 as your legit 1. Do you view like Jeudy could be a 1?
I think he has one upside, but he's not lived up to that. So banking on that is impossible right now. He's gotten off to a good start, but he's what I thought he would be, as someone who could. If I'm the Browns, I can't run this kid on crossers enough. His ability to, if you can lead him, let him get upfield when he catches it. So I'm thinking. I think he looks good as a 2. I think he looks good as a 2. I'm not trying to put him in a different category. Now he could put himself in that category with his play, but he hasn't done that as of yet. Still playing hard to get, man. I don't have to tell you. My girl's ducking me. She's been ducking me.
Who?
6 years now. It's in the chat, man.
Who's your side piece?
My girl, Mary Kay. She's playing hard to get, Brad, like real hard.
Aren't you on the same show as her all the time?
Yeah, and she's had me blocked since 2018.
She has you blocked?
Yeah.
For what?
I would never be able to tell you, man. It was like my first week on the app, which just told me the other day I was on it for 6 years. It was in 18. I don't know. I think I probably offered some constructive criticism that she wasn't feeling that day, and I just got sent to the block zone. I was blocked by Grossi and Daryl, and somehow I made a return from those guys. Like they brought me back, and then I had to not block them, but mute them. I don't block people. I mute. I just don't want to see your stuff. So, but now she's ducking me, and it's the only person who's blocked me on the app that I'm aware of that I actually regret. Yeah, you got it. You got it. World's fastest.
You will not get Brendan Rice in town. He is not allowed anywhere near here.
He wasn't active last week, by the way.
He was what?
He was not. He was on the inactive.
Yeah, of course not.
Yeah,
Why would he be? Why would he be active?
Yeah.
Quentin Johnston is doing just fine. 2 touchdowns on my fantasy team.
I got a waiver claim in for him right now. I am an owner in one league of Cooper Kupp and Deebo Samuel. I am in pain right now at wide receiver.
I ripped her tweet once, and she deleted it and created a new one.
Yeah, I actually would love to know what I did. I don't know what I did or what I said. I'm not malicious. I don't ever, I'm literally probably just offered constructive criticism, and she was like, "Not today, buddy."
So there is a group out there of reporters, writers, whatever, personalities, whatever you want to call them, right? And if you say the word boo in contradiction to anything they've reported, said, they view it as negative, whatever, Blocksky, right?
Yep.
Including our starting quarterback, by the way.
Yeah.
In this town,
people on that list
has just about everybody that's ever said anything negative about him blocked. Mm-hmm. Okay. If whatever, I don't know about the quarterback thing, but if you are going to write your opinions and report in this town, then you are opening yourself up to contradiction, criticism. So you have to live with what people say to a certain extent.
I have I don't understand the mentality of creating an echo chamber where the only thing you
Why?
accept in is positive. You won't grow. Like I welcome constructive criticism. I welcome debate, and I'm not even contentious. I'm like not aggressive, but like if I say something you don't agree with, tell me, and we can talk it out. Like if you have your reasons, that's the thing, man. I don't care if you agree with me, but I want to hear what your reasons are. And if your reasons are logical, I can't fault you, man. Like, and I think that's the way. It's the whole. I reserve the right to change my opinion when new information presents itself. And a lot of people don't live in that. They live on their takes. This is my take. I'm going to die with this take. And I just don't see the value in that.
Yeah, I agree. I made a self-made policy that I was never going to block anybody as bad as it got on Twitter.
Mhm.
And just because I believe it comes with the territory. If you're going to put your stuff out there, then you have to that's just part of the gig, right? And people get disrespectful, people troll you, people do this, that, the other, but you just have to have thick enough
That
skin.
was it. Thick skin. That's all I was thinking. Like,
Yeah, you just have to have thick enough skin to be able to like, even if it's like a disgusting tweet that's
mhm.
insulting and calling you dumb, whatever, you can still read the response, decipher what the if there is any critical thinking in it,
Mhm.
right? Decipher what critical thoughts are in there that are against yours, weigh them. Are they making a point? Disregard the other nonsense. You can still do that in an intelligent way.
Yeah.
And if
Is
you're
this an
not,
opportunity to get better at my craft?
yeah, exactly. If you're not considering other people's opinions or other people's thoughts, then what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
This is an open dialogue.
Well, it should be. It's not for a lot of people. It is not. It is just that they live in
So,
an echo chamber and they want their word to be the gospel. And like I'm always open to learning more. I think that that's the only way we grow as people.
come on now. That's not what I was saying. Fat world's fastest fat man.
I might like to challenge this man to a race. I might be able to take his title.
Stop it.
I'm pretty fast.
You're not a fat man though.
Buddy, you should see me throw down some wings. I can do my shirt size would say otherwise.
All right. So with the wide receiver thing, back on track.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah, I'm good. Here we go. I'm gonna block you.
After all that, that'd be hilarious.
That'd be so funny. All right. Jeff W. I haven't ran since 1997.
That's not too far off.
Oh, car racing. There you go. Here. Yeah. All right. Thank you
Okay.
for getting me back on track. Thank you. Kadarius Toney getting the call up, question mark. All right. So
He didn't even practice
Bell's at,
yet.
yeah, I know, right? He hasn't practiced. But my concern is this, like, okay, so Bell's out and he was, but nobody else has been productive in that role at all. That's
Mhm.
taken snaps. I mean, what said Tillman once again? I mean, are we reliving the DPJ years here a little bit? Like, even DPJ was more productive. I know it's just been 2
Yeah,
weeks, but like, uh, he need. I would like to see him intentionally be involved in the offense.
yeah, and he hasn't been. But I'll say
None.
this: if you watch the tape, he's getting open.
Well,
He's just not in the progression. He's just not like the one time he was the option was that last play where he breaks open and then Watson, should have just taken the sack because Josh Allen closed so fast. But like
yeah.
Tillman was open, but like I agree with you. There's not been an intentionality to get him into the game plan. You know what I mean? And if you're trying to establish a physicality with your receivers, that's the guy I'm leaning on. And screens and stuff. Just get the ball in his hands and see what he can do. Give him some opportunities, and they've went elsewhere. What we got going on, Brad? The intrigue's killing me.
I'm back. Am I back?
Yeah, you're back. You never left. I thought you must have been reading.
Yeah. Here you go. I was frozen.
Quit messing with me, dude. It ain't gonna work.
I'm not frozen. I'm waiting for you to read this below
Yeah.
here. You're being challenged to a race.
No, I think he's just trying to offer me a copa to get us on a racetrack, and I don't think he's challenging me to a race in a race car because I would politely decline.
Okay.
I've never raced. I've illegally raced when I was younger, but that's decades ago. I no longer feel the need for speed.
No longer.
No.
All right. Yeah, I froze. He froze. I'm back. All right. Now, just friendly, not a challenge, says World's Fast. Okay. Very good. Very good. All right. But but what about I would like to see, can we sprinkle in a little Jamari Thrash? Am I crazy for wanting to see that?
Oh, but he's not going to replace the Bell role. So what?
Okay. Why? Tell me why.
Because those aren't the routes he runs. He's not the guy doing the
He's
I
not
think
he can't work them.
I'm not
the
saying
short
he
to
can. I'm saying
intermediate.
that's not what we've seen out of him so far. He's worked intermediate to deep, and I think he's more of a vertical threat at this stage. Although I like him in the screen game, I'm not objecting to put him out there. I'm just saying if you lean towards Bell, it's because you're wanting that ball control offense, and and something that's more over the middle of the field than what Thrash is giving you right now. At least what we saw in the preseason was them playing more on the outside. I would think not to. I think Mikey Trees would be a better option for the Bell role if they're looking for someone to fill that. I don't know that they will be, though.
That's interesting. So I guess I viewed Thrash a little bit differently. His short area quickness, inability to run routes makes me feel pretty good in I think he's an intelligent enough player, not as smart as Bell or whatever, but to be able to sit down in some zones and get open when they're trying to get the ball out quickly on slants and some underneath stuff. Yeah, I think he can be a down the field threat, but I also think he can work the mid to intermediate better than Tillman can.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying. Look, I am not putting on the brakes on Thrash. I just think that they're bringing him along slowly. That must be something they're seeing in practice. And I'm just thinking, if you're wanting Bell, you're not adding dynamicism. You're adding the sure-handed intermediate over the middle of the field, work the open areas, sit down in zones. And I don't know that Thrash is that, or he's built up the faith from the coaching staff to put him in that position. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to fill that role right away.
They need to.
Yeah, but they need more. They need Tillman. They need the guys who are already kind of taking these spots instead of elevating a guy who's only going to be able to help in that one facet and not play special teams. It's such a numbers game when you're at the bottom of that roster. So
this leads us to the discussion that's going on in the NFL right now. You're watching All Eyes on Cleveland with Big Case Dog, Bickerstaff's burner, aka Casey Kinnamon, at Casey_Kinnamon on Twitter. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. There it is.
You can describe.
That's the word I was looking for. Describe, subscribe, whatever. And hit those buttons down there. And we appreciate that because it helps us out a ton. If you're watching over on X, hop on over to youtube.com/orangebrownreport and keep it locked in with the OBR all week as we get you ready for the Giants and the Browns week 3. So around the league, scoring is down, touchdowns are down. Njoku is out. Yes. The points are down. Quarterback play is way down. Teams are running the ball more. And it's all because we talked about earlier and that idiot who tried to get the too high safety band, right? So, the too high safety that teams are sitting in,
Hmm.
and they're creating this shell. Let me see if I can bring up the video I wanted to bring up on this. In this shell, and they're making teams just either be patient and take what's there, and matriculate the ball down the field, right?
Shout out to
Or
Lenny Dawson.
what?
Shout out to Lenny Dawson.
Yeah,
Matriculate the ball down the field. Hank Stram.
matriculate. Love
Mhm.
that word. And they're trying to do that, and it's working. And unlike in the past where teams, and I read this today, in the past where teams have pressed the two deep, or it's either cover 2, cover 4, cover 6. Cover 6, according to the article I read today, has been the least effective, but the cover 2, cover 4 stuff, quarters, quarter, half, that stuff, all that's working. Split field safety stuff. And it's keeping it, but they're playing it at a more conservative than ever before. Like, they're deep, super deep. They're keeping everything in front of them, and they're playing light boxes, challenging teams to run. And ultimately, this is leading teams to do that. And the mantra around the NFL is take what the defense is giving to you, and it's resulting in less points, less downfield passing, all of the above. You saw Mahomes get super frustrated by it. It's kind of been his only kryptonite the past few years, but he has been patient recently. But this is through 2 weeks of the season. I mean, I saw a statistic the other day. I mean, we're like 25 touchdowns behind last year, and it's been trending down for like the last 4 years, passing touchdowns, that is.
Yep.
So this is a theme all throughout the league, except for in Cleveland, of course, because we don't run any too high. We run single high and play man.
Yeah, it's rare. And even when we do split, one of the guys is going to be in the box.
Yeah, it's we play defense like men. But
shout out to Tim Schwartz.
Yeah, shout out to Mr. Schwartz himself. But yeah, so and this will kind of describe, this a little bit better, I believe. Let's just say, all right, I think I can play this. Bear with me. This is the mad scientist Kuiper, who wants to outlaw this, by the way, like a ludicrous lunatic. Pardon me, a ludicrous lunatic. And this is Orlovsky breaking it down for you.
And let's demonstrate exactly what it is he's talking about. I don't like using terms like too high safety and just assuming everyone in our audience knows exactly what that means. So in English, not in footballese, let's show them what that is.
All right, so first of all, too high safeties has been around for a long time. Tony Dungy made Tampa 2 the
forever. Look at how funny is it that they have Kuiper live on the screen here? Just mad as hell. He's probably so mad right now. I mean,
shout out to Tony Dungy who came back
right
and kind of set the record straight. That actually comes from Bud Carson when he was the defensive coordinator of the Pittsburgh Steelers in the 70s. Dungy stole it from him.
Mel Kiper Jr. says too high safeties should be outlawed.
Yeah.
What the hell is he talking? What are we talking about, Mel?
We're on his lawn. Okay, we are on his lawn, and he wants us the fuck off his lawn.
Yes, I mean, what are we talking? That doesn't even make sense. I mean, people have been doing this since the beginning of football. Like, I don't understand. I didn't know Mel was such a points enthusiast. Anyways.
Defense famous down there. So why are teams playing too high safety a little bit more at a frequency than in the past? Okay, number one, they're trying to minimize the explosive plays with dynamic athletes at quarterback and wide receiver. Number two, they want athletes on the field, meaning 5 defensive backs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now too high safeties is this. I'm going to cut the field in half very simply, and I'm going to draw a line in between these hashes. Now, 2 high safeties mean there's going to be 2 safeties back, okay? He's responsible for that half of the field in some capacity. He's responsible for that half the field in some capacity. Eyes on the quarterback. So no one gets deeper than those guys to take away the explosive. Then what they do is they take those 7 underneath defenders and they just have vision and responsibility on the quarterback. Now, when those guys have vision and responsibility, that corner is responsible for that area. This corner is responsible for that area. And then these 3 linebacker people, they're responsible in a zone with vision on the quarterback for that area. Now, this is why they're doing it, and how can offenses attack it? There's really only 4 places to try to throw the football, okay? The 2 places up top vertically are what they know is like those honey holes, right? Those turkey hole shots, high risk, high reward, but low percentage. And then the other area is going to be the seam behind all those linebackers. Again, difficult throws for offenses to take advantage of. Defenses really want you to play drop back football. They want to play with that vision. Look at this is what we say when we say have a cap on the offense.
Yeah,
everything is capped in front, and you have 7 defenders underneath. That ball has to come out because the pass rush, and bang, everybody rally. That's what 2 high defense is at its fundamental state.
So,
well done by Dan Orlovsky.
Yeah. I know turkey hole. That's new.
I heard the honey hole.
Yeah. I've
heard the turkey hole.
But
I'll take a good.
Hole.
I'll take a good turkey hole reference though. Throw that in there. I like that from Dan. That's just
it's in the lexicon now.
Yeah.
We'll break that out.
We're gonna run this one. We're gonna try to hit this right in the turkey hole. All right.
Are you on Sports for CLE tomorrow?
I'm not actually.
Oh, I'm on Thursday. I will get it in there somewhere. So if you guys are watching on Cleveland.com, I will say turkey hole.
That's the symbol, turkey hole. Yeah, I wish I was because I would drop it tomorrow. I am otherwise obligated tomorrow, but I will be next Friday. So I'll get double down on it. We'll double it down.
All right, and there we go.
You do it when you're on, and then I'll do it on Friday when I'm on. And Dave will be like, "What the hell's a turkey hole?"
Turkey hole.
All right. Anyways, this is working for everybody.
It's quite effective.
It's very effective, but I also read. So when I'm researching, I'm writing an article on this, but I'm researching this, right? The craziest thing about it is teams aren't even trying to go downfield against this coverage, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when they do, they're having success.
Yeah.
So you just have to have the balls to try it, or no?
His name is Jameis Winston. We have a guy on the roster who will take that shot. I promise.
Oh, I know.
Like, yeah, no, and like, there's also like when he's talking about like, obviously the turkey hole shots, but like when you're trying to get behind these linebackers, now linebackers are so light, they're basically safeties. So like their range and ability to cover that deep third in the middle, you know, it's definitely, and quarterbacks have to be calculated when you take those shots, you know, but it's like you said, it's working. I think that the one thing that's not really getting talked about is like, so far there's been 35 50-yard field goals made. Teams can't crack it, right? The most that's ever happened in a season, 50-yard field goals, 124. They're on pace for 280 right now. Kickers are benefiting from this. Teams aren't being able to crack it, and they're just settling for field goals. And that's why scoring's down, because you're trading touchdowns for field goals. And everything's just so much more conservative offensively. And everything's with the quarterback has just become risk adverse. Do it. Do it. Do it.
That would be so funny, dude. Brad, we have a question here. Let's go back to the, what do they call it?
The voicemail of truth and reason.
Voicemail of truth and
Usually
reason.
starring Jim from Rochester. I don't know if you guys have ever met that peach.
I've heard a lot of peaches on there. Stefanski needs fired. He does not know what's happening.
I'm not sure it's not you now that I'm hearing that.
Yeah,
Are
I've
you
heard it
Jim
so
from
often. I
Rochester?
emulated his voice so well. Yeah. So then I will be calling Dave to ask what Dave wanted to know. In the past week, I've heard two of your guests reference a turkey hole. What's a turkey hole?
I'm just praying that Amari Cooper catches one there this week, so I have that to point to.
And then Jacob, who just walked into this conversation, says, "What did I miss?" He'll be on, and he'll get that question, and he'll be like, "I don't know. I have no
He was on
idea.
today,
I don't know. What is a
setting
turkey
everyone
hole?"
up for failure.
Yeah. So it's a good point here from Bradley, but that's why we got to ground and pound, get defenses back up the box, then Superman over the top. So you know, they are. Yeah, don't do that. But they are. You can run the ball effectively against these light boxes, right? And at some point, you're gonna have to try to press the ball down the field against this.
Mhm.
Like Browns didn't take one shot week 2.
Mhm. No.
Biggest downfield play was the play to Judy in the 4th,
Mhm.
but that was in front of
Yeah.
their safety. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's not going to change until somebody figures out how to
I don't
beat
think
it.
we're the team to test it right now. I think we're still
No,
Watson's still building his confidence, and he's
no,
not trying to turn the ball over, which was what we
we're
need from him right now. But eventually, that has to be part of your offense. You have to be able to take the lid off, and you got a couple guys that can get deep. You know, Jamari Thrash would be a nice guy to sneak in there on 3 or 4 plays and see if we can get one of those turkey hole shots.
um, yeah, yeah. I don't know if I trust him to try to throw one in the turkey hole right now, but uh, the point being, I guess, Brown centric thought on this. We've been just trying to get him to take the underneath stuff to
Yeah.
stop, right? So he did that last week. Good progress.
Mhm.
Let's refrain from trying to put one in the turkey hole, right? And
Yeah.
let's, and, you know, so, and I guess that probably could have been worded a little bit different.
No, it's perfect.
Put
It's
one in the
perfect.
turkey hole.
They're right in the turkey hole.
Yeah. So, but either way, yeah, I think that this is going to slow offenses down until, I mean, teams are just, they're not testing it. But the craziest thing about this, the takeaway and the point that I was just basically trying to get to is if you look at the metrics,
The success
teams
rate.
that are testing
Yeah.
it are having a wild success rate at it. At some point, people are going to be like, we have to press the ball down the field. We can't go on 12 play drives every time
Yep.
and expect to win games unless we have a really good defense too. So teams that are playing from behind are going to have to press this. This is how teams are. It's just crazy. Go ahead.
Offenses right now are living in their fears.
Yes.
They
Yeah.
are fearful. Do we
Should be made.
I blame Dan Orlovsky, but like,
It
come
should
on,
be
man.
made illegal everywhere, I
You know what I
believe.
mean?
Yeah. Never heard that before. We're gonna have to clip that.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
I
That one's
wanna
going to
hear,
live on. That one's got legs.
yeah, I want to hear that again because he just kind of slides it in there,
No
right?
one questioned him. Like it was like a term
No,
they've been
like
hearing
what
the
the
whole
hell?
time. That is like I watch an obscene amount of football.
Let's demonstrate exactly what.
All right.
Yep. Show it.
So, is it right here?
He's gonna point out the bottom here.
All
He's
right.
dividing the field. He's gonna show you the
Okay.
areas.
Yeah.
I think you can let it rip right there.
7 underneath defenders, and they just have vision and responsibility on the quarterback. Now, when those guys have vision and responsibility, that corner's responsible for that area. This corner's responsible for that area. And then these 3 linebacker people, they're responsible in a zone.
Linebacker people. Linebacker
Yeah,
people.
that was another one. Linebacker people.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Dan.
With vision on the quarterback for that area. Now, this is why they're doing it, and how can offenses attack it? There's really only 4 places to try to throw the football, okay? The 2 places up top vertically are what they know is like those honey holes, right? Those turkey hole shots, high risk.
Oh,
Turkey hole shots. Gotta watch out for those turkey hole shots, man.
I've heard the honey hole many
yeah.
times.
Yeah, it's
Dan, or he goes, or those turkey hole shots.
What they know is like those honey holes, right? Those turkey hole shots, high risk,
high risk, high reward. That's the truth right there.
Yeah, man.
I tell you what, a turkey hole shot is high risk, high reward.
I love
right?
how dumb
Those
this
turkey
show
hole
is.
shots, high risk, high reward, but low percentage holes, right? Those turkey hole shots, high risk, high reward, but low percentage. And then the other area is going to be the seam behind. Okay, the 2 places up top vertically are what they know is like those honey holes, right? Those turkey hole shots, high risk, high reward, but low percentage. And then the
like, why did nobody say pause right then? Like,
Yeah. Hey, hold on.
what?
Dan, what the hell are you talking about? It's a turkey hole shot.
I don't know how you could not laugh at that. The
Wild
absurdity.
turkey shots.
The absurdity.
I mean, maybe it is.
What offensive coordinator came to him with that?
I don't know. He heard it somewhere.
Yeah. You didn't. That was not off the cuff, unless he
No.
was dared like we're doing for Sports for CLE to sneak it
Yeah.
in a conversation. Bet you won't say
Listen,
turkey.
Dave,
hole shot.
the key to this game this week, they've got to be taking more turkey hole shots. I mean, the turkey hole is just not being attacked enough.
The turkey hole's wide open.
It's wide open. And
Gaping.
I've watched a ton of tape this week, and they've just got to just be firing at the turkey hole,
Mhm. Yeah.
multiple repetitions. You've got to expose the turkey hole, and you've got to take advantage of the turkey hole
That
shot.
turkey hole's gaping. I mean, it's wide open.
It's open.
Yeah.
It's open for the taking, and you've got to take the shot in the turkey hole. And keeping a straight face is the most difficult thing about trying to do this,
Yeah.
right?
I think I'm gonna be able to do it though. I think I'm gonna be able to
I think
deadpan
so,
that
too.
one.
Yeah. And these linebacker people, right? You got to take
You
it.
gotta watch out for the linebacker people.
You got to, yeah. I mean, they're not human. They're let's
Linebacker
get this
people.
right. They don't want to be called linebackers or just human. They're linebacker people. Okay.
Linebackers before people.
Yeah.
They're people secondary. Linebackers first.
I want to make sure that we're politically correct here.
Mhm.
PC police, they're our
Yeah.
linebacker people. All right. Good.
They are not
Make sure we
responsible
get
for the turkey hole.
They are not.
Not in any
No.
way.
Not in any way. They need, they're okay. That is good stuff. Thank you, Dan Orlovsky, for the entertainment tonight. We'll go to you more often. All right, let's. So we want to talk real quickly before we get out of here. I want to talk about linebackers are people too, but it's true. But they are, in fact, linebacker people. Okay.
Yeah.
The people.
If it's just one, is it a linebacker person?
A linebacker person. Yeah. Very good. All right. He was All right, so I do want to show one more video, and this is pertaining to. You're looking at me like I'm crazy. It says nothing. This is pertaining to the Giants. We didn't get to this stuff on the React last night, but it's a short one. It's their idiot quarterback. What's his name?
Yeah.
Danny Jones.
Yeah, resting dumb face Jones.
Yes, and he looks like the most miserable man on the planet.
It might just be his face. He has looked like this his whole career. But let's listen.
I mean, I agree, but like, he just looks so miserable. I'm like, hold on, I gotta find it. When I watch this, I'm like, God, what are they doing to this kid?
That media market will eat you up, though, man. Like
I know.
New York's media market, that is like we know what we know from rooting for Cleveland, but like that is a different beast in New York with the media. He's probably just beat down by life at this point.
All right, here we go. Daniel Jones talking about a couple things, mostly Browns and Giants.
Done for the offense. I mean, you see the explosiveness and stuff like that. How much easier does he make your job?
Yeah, he's done a really good job. Come in and played well. I think.
Sounds like it.
In matchup situations where he's one-on-one with a guy, he's won and made explosive plays for us time and time again. So he's done a good job. Been a big help to us so far.
Have you noticed any teams trying to take him out of the game already, in the sense of doubling him so you can't go to him?
Yeah, I mean, I think there were points in the game in Washington, certainly not the whole game, but certain times where you could tell the coverage changed based off of him and how he was playing and some of the looks he was getting. So, we got to be ready for that and understand that, when you have a player like that and you feature him like that, defenses are going to adjust.
You brought up last week being more decisive and trusting yourself. Do you think you did a better job, or have you kind of
yeah, I do think I did a better job. I think still some areas to improve on and work on, but overall I thought I did better.
DJ Malik seemed to take that drop on 4th and 4 pretty hard last week. Did you talk to him after the game, and what do you think he'll be able to bounce back this week?
Yeah, he's a competitor and holds himself to a high standard. I think you realize that pretty quickly spending any time with him. He expects to make every play, and yeah, it was a tough one for him, but I know he'll bounce back. He's a confident guy, and I think it was pretty clear we wouldn't have been in that situation without his performance and all he had done throughout the game. And he'll be back, and he'll continue to be a huge part of what we do.
So distressed.
From the coaches to the players, or the players amongst themselves about 0-2?
I think everyone realizes our record. I think everybody understands that, but no one's discouraged or no one's letting that affect our preparation and how hard we work going into the game. So
as you can tell by my face right now,
energy and feel in the building still, and I think that's important to our preparation, important to our process, and making sure we're practicing well and preparing to play well. So yeah, we know the record, but it's a long season, and we got a good football team.
How do you expect your team to respond this week in Cleveland, Daniel?
Expect us to respond well, play well, come out ready to go, and play a good game. So that's what we all expect. I think got to have a good week in practice. We had a good start today, and we'll build off of it. So yeah, expect to play well.
The Browns' defense is good. It's even better at home. How do you deal with that?
Yeah, they've got a good defense, got good players at all three levels, really, and a lot of speed. So we'll have a game plan. I think, obviously the pass rush is something we got to take into account and plan for, and we'll do that. But it's always about us. It's always about, focusing on yourself and making sure you're ready to go.
How much do you need, though, to have a plan with Myles Garrett?
Yeah, he's a good player for sure. He's
doesn't he look like he's about ready to cry?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, man. He's saying the right things. That's what he's supposed to say. His eyes do not match his words at all.
No.
He looks like he would, if he could, he'd just throw a smoke bomb down and disappear and not be there.
I don't think I've ever seen someone look so uncomfortable and miserable.
Yeah, he looks
in
very
an interview.
uncomfortable. He's He's got. I mean, I'm not trying to I'm not pretty. The man's got an uncomfortable face.
He does.
It looks very, very uncomfortable to be in his skin right now.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. He's giving off a weird vibe, man. He's just like he turned around to answer that one guy's question, and he looked at him like he was, I don't know. It's just strange. Like, I don't know. He turned around and looked like he was looking right down the barrel of the turkey hole, and he caught him surprised there. He looked like he jumped back 10 feet. All right.
Good player, has the ability to affect the game from a pass rush standpoint and the run game also. So got to have a plan, a protection plan. Luckily, we got AT. AT's an incredible player, and we're
Andrew Thomas. He's not wrong. Andrew Thomas is a stellar left tackle.
Yeah, I didn't know what he said.
Yeah, he said AT. Apparently, that's their boys like that, and he calls them AT.
Yeah. They're gonna move him around though. Too.
Yeah, and look, man, I wrote it up in my matchups piece, and I've Andrew Thomas is a phenomenal left tackle. Garrett gets double teamed on 30% of his reps so far through 2 games, right? That number probably closer to 10 to 15% this week. It'll be up to Garrett to win those one-on-one matchups when it's truly one-on-one. And I think that's the challenge he needs to be up for. Like, there's probably only 3 or 4 offensive tackles in the league who their teams would feel comfortable even attempting to block Miles one-on-one for the majority of the game. This happens to be one of them, but I still favor Miles in that matchup.
very confident in that matchup.
Does he move around at all? Go from side to side, or is he
a little bit? Yeah, he'll move around a little bit, so we'll get a sense for how he's playing.
Daniel, what's your message to the fans after the rocky start?
We have a high standard for ourselves and what we can be, what this team can be. We're confident in getting things going, and we're working hard to do that. So nobody's happy with where we are from a record standpoint, but we understand what we need to do to turn it around and catch some momentum. So no one's freaking out. I think we understand that. In order to get where we need to go, we need to focus on what we're doing from a prep.
No one's freaking out, Casey.
It's funny though. If you handed Jameis Winston the same exact script, we'd be like, man, believe every second of every word. It's his delivery. It's just it's
all in the eyes, man.
Yeah, he's dying inside, man.
It looks like he's dying inside. Yeah. Now he played much better last week.
Yeah.
And they had him playing good football at one point.
Mm-hmm.
They gave him a contract based off of him taking them to the playoffs, right? Yeah. And he played great. But he has to have everything perfect around him, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the vast majority of quarterbacks. The very few guys that are able to pull the team up by their bootstraps and elevate them to their level. But that's what the Browns believed Deshaun was when they moved heaven and earth to go get him. So yeah, it's just a product of you can't pay guys what they're actually worth at that position, especially if they're first round picks and their contract comes up. You have to it's the same reason Baker's not here. There should be a mid-level exemption for a quarterback where I don't have to break the market to retain this guy. It'll allow you to build around him instead of putting this gargantuan price tag on him with all the expectations that come with that. You look at Daniel Jones' skill set. He can do all the things. And shout out to Jacob Roach. He pointed this out. I think Daniel Jones has 67 turnovers in 62 games.
Wow. He will run a lot on Sunday. I truly believe that.
He is the sneakiest of the sneaky athletes.
Yeah.
He's sneakier than Lawrence. Lawrence is a sneaky athlete. Get out on you.
Their secondary is exploitable.
Yes.
But Kayvon Thibodeau, Dexter Lawrence, Brian Burns,
even Ojulari is the backup.
Roches, Nunez, Ojulari, Aziz,
Mm-hmm.
and then I mean, that front is pretty good.
Yeah, even the linebackers, you could throw Okereke and Micah McFadden. They make a ton of tackles, man. I think it all hinges on 97 up front. Like, Dexter Lawrence is the best interior defensive lineman in the NFL, in my opinion. It was actually fun watching his tape for the last 2 days.
I bet. Yeah. You wrote about him some. Pete wrote about him.
Yeah.
All right. So
I do want to say something though, because I watched the 2020 tape just to get a feel. At one point, the New York Giants on their defensive line, it was Dalvin Tomlinson, Dexter Lawrence, and Leonard Williams. Like, how do you mess that up?
I don't know.
That's scary.
I remember that.
That is scary up front, man.
Yep. Will Ward play Sunday?
We don't know what kind of pitch count he was. We had no idea he was going to be on a pitch count, so we don't.
I didn't even realize he was on a pitch count until the game was over, and I saw the.
But that's just a credit to the other guys not being exposable when they did get their opportunities. You know,
he's still leading the league in pass breakups.
He's so due, man. He's had three interceptions dropped.
Our cornerbacks cannot catch at all. Emerson had one too.
Yeah, his would have been spectacular too, because him and BTJ were jawing at the time that whole game, and
sort of. But I mean, he had it he literally had it in his hands. And
he knocked it away from himself,
and he threw it out of his own hands. Right?
Yeah, I think his knee might have hit it on the way through. Yeah. No, he played possum though. He set that up. He let the quarterback throw that. Like that. That's a mark of a veteran right there. Like, he's got to capitalize. They're close, man. They're going to get one.
Did you see Delpit try to let that dude stand up and then rip him on the fumble?
Yep.
I didn't see it.
Delpit ripped at the ball a lot. If you'll notice that he rips at the ball a ton.
Yeah, playing the run exceptionally well, Delpit.
Yeah, I think he'll lead all safeties and tackles for loss this year.
Yeah. Him and JOK. I mean, those two combined has been enough to deter the run. So far.
Yeah, so far. And I mean, don't get me wrong. You can.
Other teams are going to test him more.
Well, and it's the Browns' defensive tackles because Dalvin has also been on a pitch count. Also didn't practice today. We don't know what kind of full load he's going to go, but when he's not in there, the interior defensive line is susceptible to the run, especially number 72. You can run at Quentin Jefferson. You just can. So.
Thornhill is on the guitar. Chica? Is that what that is?
It's either Chick or Chic.
Chic.
Could be, but it could also be Chick.
What's up with Thornhill? Thornhill is on the IR 4 weeks.
Yep.
All right.
We got an extensive list of players on the IR.
Yeah. Offensively, Malik Neighbors is a beast.
Yeah. This ain't that different than last week, man. Like, you're facing two stud pass rushers. Dexter makes it different in the middle. Offensively, they got a stud rookie wide receiver, just like BTJ. In fact, they played the same
He's
college.
Better than BTJ.
I don't know. I'll reserve judgment on that, but
I feel pretty strongly that Neighbors is better.
Okay.
Personally.
Yeah. I'm not there yet.
Okay. Darius Slayton, Wayndell Robinson, Jalen Hyatt. They run the ball with Singletary.
Yep. They have Tyrone Tracy. That's the kind of back that scares me.
Purdue, right?
Yep.
5th round. Yeah.
Yeah, and they have Eric Gray, the Oklahoma product, in his second year back in as third string back. The tight end depth chart confused me. I like Daniel Bellinger a decent amount.
Me too.
Third on their depth chart.
Theo Johnson, rookie, Penn State, getting the start.
I'm always high on Penn State players, and I don't know if I really like them or if I like their strength and conditioning program. Can never tell.
Chic. Is that right? You got it right? Chic?
Apparently, I got lucky.
Yeah.
Broken clock status over here.
Schwartz said Ward got hurt on his second play, was worried about tackling, so they mixed him in some third downs. Yeah. Perfect timing, too, because felt like every time he was in the game, he made a play.
Made a play. Yeah.
And
So effective.
Very effective. All right. It's a game you got to win.
Yeah.
It's a game
Oh my
you gotta
God.
win.
Yeah, you can't. You got to nail down the ones that your hands in. You are so much more talented than them. You get them at home. And you're staring down the barrel of a 3-game road trip. Those can go rocky. You got to nail this one. You got to at least enter that road trip 2-1.
Yeah, and that's what scares me about this game. It's like you gotta have them games where the other team has nothing to lose, are scary. I think they'll win. It does give them an opportunity potentially against what I think outside of the front four is a suspect defense. Some of the front seven, Okariki's real good, but like a chance to take another step with the pass game. I mean, this is like their preseason.
Yeah,
but
it's coming to an end. We got to be getting out of that mode, right?
But you've got to get wins now, and then as you go to this road trip, stuff's got to really tighten up. Penalties.
All right. Okay, here's my stance.
Okay.
I would be more worried about this being a trap game had they not gotten embarrassed the last time that we saw them at home. I think that the fact that they're getting an opportunity to play in front of the home fans again and kind of get a good taste and everyone, you know what I mean? Like, I think that was such an egregious performance that their best foot is going to be forward this week. I don't think
so too.
And had that not happened in week one, this is a much higher likelihood for a trap game, in my opinion. But because they got their tails handed to them in the first game, the fact that they get to come home again in front of the home fans and kind of reestablish who they are in their eyes, I honestly think this is kind of weird. Week 3 of last year, getting Tennessee at home, I think this has a lot of the same vibes. I even wrote it in our roundtable, which will be out Saturday. Is that right? Is that correct?
Yeah, Saturday morning.
Yeah, that's what I honestly think this has vibes of that game, and have the same head official, by the way, as that game.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I was saying to maybe do a referee report this week.
I do a little mini one when I do. I'm doing a new article. It comes out on Saturday or Sunday mornings called Game Day Ready, and it's all the particulars from every.
Never mind.
You don't know. I'm not trying to take an article from you, my man.
No, I did it last year, but as long as you hit that, I was more doing it like trends, things to look for.
Yeah, that's why. And last week I seen a lot of people like, well, the refs really trying to give the game to Jacksonville. Adrian Hill was the head ref last week, and it was his 8th game reffing a Browns game. The Browns were 2-5 going into that. The Jacksonville Jaguars were 0-6 with that guy calling games. So to act like he's handing the game to anyone, it's like, nah, man.
No, a lot of those penalties were all legit. The 3 in a row were legit at the end. Those were all real holds. Face mask.
Yep. Like those suck, but like, give me effort penalties. You got to knock the pre-snap shit off.
Yes,
like that. I can't have it.
It's like 2 or 3 times. It's like, okay, they're shifting 2 guys in motion at once. They both got to come to a complete stop before another guy motions, and they're not giving him the full second. And a lot of times, I think it's a little bit on the quarterback because he's like waving before they're set, and you've got the play clock as a factor. So, and I know I complained about the pre-snap motion after week 1, and they did a lot more last week, including some orbit motion stuff, which we were looking for. But on one of them, he got called for it because you can't go forward.
It's got to be lateral. Yep.
And you got called for one of those. You have to keep lateral. You can be moving at the snap, but you have to be moving laterally.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to come completely set at the snap as long as you are moving, not moving forward.
Yep.
The only time you have to come completely set is when you shift 2 guys at once. They have to become completely set for a full second before another guy can go in motion. They got called for that twice, where a guy still just getting set as the other guy starts his motion. That stuff is so controllable.
Yeah, and that's the stuff that kills me about pre-snap penalties. And if you look through 2 games, the Browns have 14 pre-snap penalties, by far the most in the league. They have 24 overall penalties, also most in the league. This is not indicative of a Kevin Stefanski-led team. That's what's frustrating to me. Now, some of it you could argue they're implementing a new offense. There's things they don't have down, but this is all stuff that should have been ironed out. And especially at the receivers, you have to know the motion rules, and the quarterback has to give you the time to execute those. And I think that it's a team effort in that regard. But I do think it's something that is 100% correctable. And these are professionals, and that has to be an emphasis, man. We've already talked about what first down efficiency means for this team to stay in those scenarios, and you can't start 1st and 15. And you can't. We've seen big plays wiped off the board, and that sucks. It's even procedural stuff. It's the Dustin Hopkins crossing the 50. Now that's an arbitrary rule. He's not doing anything, but that shot Winston Reed put on Tank Bigsby, man, that changes the whole game.
That was the biggest one, man. That one was like that. I think that game gets out of hand if
it was about to. Definitely had the makings of it. The offense was rolling at that point, and you're handing them prime real estate right there. But if you look at it from D-Hop's perspective, he's kicked off his whole life and been allowed to cross the 50. This is the first time that's not been a thing. But
as much as you have talked about that freaking rule,
I know.
You got to know that rule, man.
And he also crossed it again after that and didn't get called for it.
So stupid. You still got to know that rule. Like, why are you even trying to cross it?
I'm just saying you have to train. When you've done something one way your whole life, it's up to you. It's inherent upon yourself to train yourself.
Why is he even trying to cross it?
He's not even running if he's just jogging too. It's like he's not. Believe me,
going to make
the Browns
play.
don't want him to be part of the tackle.
No,
he doesn't want to be part of the tackle.
Kick it, stand there. Every time.
Hell, go backwards. Walk backwards after you kick it. I don't care.
Go get the tee and get off the field. I don't care.
Yeah. I agree.
Right. Good stuff, Casey. Great show. Appreciate you. Everybody follow Casey on Twitter at Casey_Kinnamon. This has been another edition of All Eyes on Cleveland, talking linebacker people and turkey holes and everything pertinent about the Browns this week as we go to week 3. We remain locked in on the important things here on All Eyes on Cleveland, as always. Keep it locked at the OBR as we got you covered wall to wall 24/7, keeping everything Browns and Giants at the forefront for you, covering it from all angles. I will see you tomorrow night for Things I Think I Know with Quincy Carrier and Abby Mueller. You guys are great. Thank you for your contribution in the chat. You guys make the show what it is and so much fun. So we appreciate all of you very much. And hit like and subscribe on your way out. And enjoy your evening. Tell a friend. Keep coming back. Go Browns. For Casey Kinnamon, my name is Brad Ward. We are out.
Turkey.